All right, today's video, it is introduction to the new goal-based sqlcmd. Traditionally, we've been using the sqlcmd that is the ODBC based. So we probably at the same time, we didn't know, or we just know there's only one sqlcmd. However, 1 or 2 years ago, Microsoft released the new version of sqlcmd that is Go-based. Okay, Go is a language. So basically, Microsoft ported the sqlcmd from traditional ODBC-based to Go-based. However, the majority, command line flags are still backward compatible. Okay, so let's Google. Let's go to a Google. Okay, let me open this. Let me just do a search sqlcmd. So one of the URL page, it is GitHub. So basically, that is Microsoft the GitHub page. It says new sqlcmd. So the CLI for SQL Server. So this new version, it is also can have a certain capability to interact with Azure, cloud environment, Docker, those kind of things. Okay, so if we see the README, so it's called the sqlcmd. It is the sqlcmd command. And the Go package is working with SQL. The tradition, like SQL Server, is either on-premise or in the cloud. Also, Azure SQL Database, Azure Synapses. I believe probably also include the Azure SQL managed instance. Okay, so anyway, so basically, this is the new version of sqlcmd. So if we scroll down, they will see how to install. They support all major platforms. Like on Windows, we can use wget, or we can use download the zip file or MSI file to do the manual install. So they also support the macOS. You can use the brew command to install, and all the Linux flavors. Like you can use package like DNF, apt, Ubuntu, or Yummy install. Okay, and and they also give some basic command. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead to do the install. Okay. Before I go that, let's go to continue with the web search. Okay, so let's look at the Microsoft official documentation. It says sqlcmd utility apply to SQL Server, Azure SQL Database, Azure SQL Managed Instance, Synapses, all of them. Okay, Fabric, the source. Okay. So here you can see, and let's go to the CMD. So basically, they have two versions. Okay, let's see. Let me scroll down. Okay, here it is. So they have one version called sqlcmd parentheses Go. That is the new version, Go based. The older one called sqlcmd ODBC based. So typically, when we install the SQL Server, they will have sqlcmd come with the SQL Server installation, and we typically use that one. So I'm going to, in this demo, so I'm going to start with server. I already have a SQL Server, SQL installed. So we will see where the SQL being installed. After that, we're going to use the SQL package manager. In this case, I'm going to just use the winget to install the sqlcmd new version sqlcmd. Okay, after we just do some simple compare and to see where it's going to be useful for us to use the new version of sqlcmd. Okay, so let me minimize this one. So this is the server I'm going to use. So this is the sqlcmd currently installed, come with the SQL Server. If I type sqlcmd, I will connect to the local server, the SQL Server. Okay, so you can see it. All right, so I have SQL Server 2022 and installed on Microsoft Windows Server 2005. So this is the local one, and so that is the default one. Okay, so if we type sqlcmd like a question mark, they will give us the usage. So sqlcmd with those flags. Okay, it also says versions 16 Microsoft SQL Server command line 2. So that is the traditional one that is ODBC based. Okay, and now we're gonna do the install so we can compare the ODBC version based and the Go based. Okay, so as I said, for this server, I have internet connect, so we just use winget to do a quick install. Okay, winget install. Now, of course, you probably you should have like admin privilege to install packages. So we're gonna install sqlcmd. Okay, so if you already have a old version of sqlcmd, and the install probably going to change the path. Okay, they will use the path for the new version. Okay, we'll see shortly. Do you want to accept the yes? And then they go to the Microsoft repository, the release version 1.8.2, and then the install is finished. Okay, so after install, let's see where sqlcmd and let me see, it should be, let me open a separate window to see what's going on. Okay, so let's see where sqlcmd. All right, so you see we have two sqlcmd. One, it is the one we just installed. It is installed in the program files sqlcmd. This is the older one. They come with the SQL Server install. Okay, so let me see. Probably I need to do a CMD again. Okay, so we this time we should have the SQL CMD now. Okay, no, it is. Let me see. How do I maybe let me open another window to see if I can get the new environment. Let's see. Equals CMD. Okay, here it is. So let me exit this window. Exit this one. Okay. So all right. So we have two windows. So on the black window, so we basically have the older one. So if we see for this one, we still use the older one. Okay, so if we do where sqlcmd, because I didn't change the profile, so then the sqlcmd is going to use the old one. Okay, so the new one, sqlcmd. This is going to be the new one. Okay, new one, it is this one. Okay, so when I type sqlcmd, because this is on the top of prior to this line, so they will invoke this sqlcmd. Okay, so let's do a compare. Okay, so if I type sqlcmd minus version, you see, I get a version. It's called sqlcmd install create query. So this is their function, and SQL Server, Azure SQL, and the tools. Okay, so version is 1.8. So for the older one, you don't have this minus version. So right, so they said it's incorrect. So to get help, this is a way to identify are you using the older version, ODBC based, or new version. Okay, so let's do the help. Okay, but the help, you see, this is the help. You get a version this one, right, and all these things, and for the new version, we can also do the same thing to get to the help. Okay, so if we do the help, either slash question mark or dash question mark, so you will see, and they still have those flags. You see, this is the flags, right? And this is the version, in this case 182. So let's scroll down, continue. So this is all the flags, okay? And so the one of this flag, let me go back to this one, okay? And let's see. Let's use this one, okay? If I use help, so the help, it's going to give the more like the syntax for the new version. You see, if I type SQL Server cmd minus help, they will see this is the usage for the new one. So the sqlcmd flag, this is basically still the old-fashioned. You can use like -s for the server, -u for the user, those kind of things. However, the sqlcmd, so those are the new ones. It's going to say you can install SQL Server or create SQL Server. You can query SQL and remove the SQL Server. So in this demo, we are not going to cover this because myself not sure how widely these new things will be accepted by the community. But for the people who still using the sqlcmd, it's a tool to query, to connect, to query, to manage the SQL Server. That is the main thing. Okay, so. All right, so let's continue. So we already see the difference. If I, on the older version, if I do a help, see if I can get. Probably I will not get because of this is the new format, okay, right? So minus help doesn't work for the ODBC version CMD. It does work for the new version, okay? You see here it is. Minus help, same like -h, and some other things like version. Okay, so that is the new one. And all right, so let's do a test. So I'm going to connect to the run a command. So let's see. I'm going to run the SP databases. So this is I'm using the ODBC one. Okay, so this is what I got. So I'm going to do the same thing for the new one to see is any difference when we just do a query and to see. Let's see why it is. Oh, yeah, it's the same. At least for this one, you look it's look like the same, right? So there's not much difference. All the flags, let's see, sqlcmd -s. In my case, I'm using local, or if I use there's it's all the same because it's backward. One of the one of the things it is useful to me, it is the new flag. Okay, let's do a question mark, and to see what one of the flag is interested. It is this flag. It's minus capital F. Okay, this flag can be used to format the output. So sometimes the line is too long. When you query something, you want to see in the vertical format. This flag is important. Let's do a demo. We use the same, let's see, we're going to use the same command, sp databases, right? So we're going to do this one. So okay, look like so slower the new version. Okay, but anyway, so the flag is we can format in the vertical format. Okay, so you can like a vertical or short, just word. Okay, vertical. Let's see. So this is vertical or word, word or word is also. Let me see. Word is not. At least you need to have. So the new one, you can use the vertical. You can see it is formatted pretty nice. The database name and the size is easy to read. Okay. Also, let's see if we want to do. Let's see. Let's try this one. I just want to give the sp who. Okay. So they also gave us like a vertical format. And sometimes it's easy to read. So that is one of the feature I feel it's very nice and to built in into the command line. Okay, and so that is very nice of Microsoft to put this similar like in the other database like MySQL the G option, okay, backslash G to vertical, I think. All right, so let's try one more time. So I'm going to see. So it looked at least look to me from performance wise, and the older ones much faster. You see the difference. So that is another difference. So that is the two things I noticed. Okay, so to summarize, let me go back to this. So we did some comparison. So we notice to check the SQL the version, you can use SQL cmd minus version. So if this returns something, that means that is means it's a new version. If nothing, that is errored out, then it is older one. So we can also use -h to get help, and or we can use minus question mark or this one. And those are for the this is minus help, that is for the new one. If we want to see the old version, we're gonna use this minus question mark or -h. Okay, this one / question mark. Okay, so this is to check the is this ODBC based or it is Go based, and this is get the help of an old style like the flag. So this help is going to also get the command line. Not only the also the some help with the commands. Okay, let me go back to this. Let's show one more time. Okay, so with this one, so if we do a sqlcmd -h, it says no, it should be minus so help. Okay, so and why it's not working? Let's see. It says -h is equivalent to minus and minus help. Or it says missing argument. Okay, so now let's use the minus help. So with -h, you can probably further help. Okay, and the available command is here. Let's see. You can create a SQL server, local or Azure SQL. You can open like a query, and you can those things. That is the new ones. Okay. As I said, I'm not sure how this is going to be adopted because there's other things to create SQL Server in the Azure. They have Azure CLI, those things like PowerShell, those kind of tools. I'm not sure how this sqlcmd is going to be widely used by the SQL Server community. However, the sqlcmd is still being widely used. And also we notice the sqlcmd -f flag is kind of useful, and let's see, this is a useful flag, the new one. Also, we notice the ODBC connection is faster, okay? At least for the local connection, okay? And the Go connection is a little bit slow, okay? It's so slow, okay? Slower, a little bit slow, okay? So, and all right, so that is the local connection. So let's see, this is bit slow, okay? So let me try to from another server, that is do a remote connection. So I'm gonna do a remote connection. Before that, let me see where the sqlcmd on this box. So I also have two sqlcmd installed. And so let me do the sqlcmd new version first. So I'm going to sqlcmd -s. So my remote server, in my case, it is W25 D1. I have to use a SQL Server login. Okay, so let me see. All right, so this is the so the login is pretty fast. Oh, this is probably because the it is the SQL login. Okay, so if I'm using, let's see, if I'm using this one, the older ODBC probably going to be similar. Okay, so let me do this. -s. So the server I'm going to connect, it is in the domains, so I have to use like SQL login. Okay, so let's see where all right, so the connection seems very fast, so I don't understand, but at least at the local, and when we do the connection, it seems immediately notice the difference. Okay, so let's try one more time. So I'm going to do a local connection and query SP databases. You see it's immediate. So using the newer version, it does seems a bit slow. Okay, let me just do the connection. Yeah, connection is the first very fast. I think what happens when we do the query, it's kind of slow. So let me confirm remote as well. So I'm going to -q. So SP databases. So let's see how long this is going to take. Let me see, I have a command called time. See if I can time this on sqlcmd. Oh, I don't have the time. Control C. Which one? Oh, anyway, so let's just do it then. So instead of time, no, it's let me try one more time. So remote is return immediately. So I'm not sure for why this behave this way, but still, just this is just FYI. And all right, so that's basically the content of today.